Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be talking about square numbers. So, what is a square number? Okay, well, imagine a square. You're going to have to imagine it because this is not going to be a perfect square. As you know, a square has all the sides the same length. So we could call it 2 centimeters. So imagine a square with sides which are all 2 centimeters long. The area of that square would be 2 times 2, which would be 4 centimeters squared. Or imagine another square which has sides which are 3 centimeters long. The area of that square would be 3 times 3, which would be 9 centimeters squared. So when we think of square numbers, to try and remember what they are, if we think of squares, so the square number is, in this case, 4 is a square number. In this case, 9 is a square number. So if we look down here, square numbers are the result or the product of timesing a number by itself. So 1 times 1, so 1. So if we just write the fact that that is the square number. Just room on the screen there. Right, so 2 times 2. So the square number there is 4. 3 times 3, the square number there is 9. 4 times 4, square number there is 16. 5 times 5, square number there is 25. A square number is always a whole number. So you can't say a square number is 1.1 multiplied by 1.1, whatever the answer is. A square number has to be a whole number. So a square number is a whole number, and it's the product or result of multiplying a number by itself. So let's write down the first few square numbers, or the first 10 square numbers in fact. In primary school, we look at numbers particularly between 1 and 100. If we take the numbers between 1 and 10 and square them, the first number's 1 and the last number is 100. So 1 squared equals 1. 2 squared equals 4. 3 squared equals 9. 4 squared equals 16. 5 squared equals 25. 6 squared equals 36. 7 squared equals 49. 8 squared equals 64. 9 squared equals 81. And 10 squared equals 100. So the square numbers less than or equal to 100 are 1, forgotten that one now, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, running out of space, and 100. Okay, I should have started a bit earlier. So what are the common mistakes people make when doing calculations, basically when squaring numbers? Well, what happens is we know that 2 squared equals 2 times 2, which equals 4. So a lot of people think, oh, 3 squared must equal 3 times 2, which is 6. But of course, that's not true. So if you remember back to earlier on when I showed you the square, if you think of a square and the area of that square is going to give you the square number. Okay, so I'm going to show you something a little bit interesting with a sequence of square numbers, and this would help you calculate a square number. So if we, so the first square number, as we know, is 1. The next square number is 4. Next one is 9. Next one is 16. Next one is 25. So if we do the interval, we've added 3. Between the next two square numbers we add 5. Between the next two we add 7. Between the next two we've added 3, 5, 7. It's got to be 9, hasn't it? So if you want to know the next square number, you just add 2 to that, so add 11, which will give you 36. And you can keep on going like that. Right, what I'm going to do now is just give you a few examples of calculations, simple calculations, just involving adding square numbers together. And then I'm going to get you to try a few yourself. I'm actually going to leave it up there just to make it a little bit easier. Okay, so 2 squared plus 3 squared. So always do, this is part of something called BODMAS, which we'll do in a later video. So always do the squared bits first. So 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, so 4 plus 9 equals 13. Okay, what about 5 squared plus 6 squared? Well, 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36, add them together and we get 61. If we do one a little bit more tricky now, so let's do 7 squared plus 9 squared. Maybe not that much more tricky. 7 squared, 49, plus 9 squared, 81. Could probably do that in your head, but if not, just simply do some column addition. 9 plus 1 is 10. 4 plus 8 is 12. Add the 1, makes 13. So that would be 130. So column addition, that's something we'll cover in a later video. Right, so now we're going to go on to just a little quiz, 4 short questions. I'm going to rub out the square numbers, not going to make it too easy. See if you can work out what these are. Okay, so first of all, we're going to do 3 squared plus 4 squared. Okay, so as usual, if you start working out, I'm going to do 4 questions, start working that one out, and then we'll go through them at the end. Okay, so 3 squared plus 4 squared, 5 squared plus 6 squared, 2 squared plus 8 squared, 12 squared minus 6 squared. Okay, so hopefully you've done the first one. So 3 squared equals 9, plus 4 squared is 16, so that makes 25. Okay, if you haven't finished yet, just carry on, because all the answers will be there so you can check against the answers I've got. Okay, so 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36, add them together and we get 61. Okay, 2 squared is 4, 8 squared is 64, add them together and you get 68. Right, hopefully you noticed we've changed from adding to taking away. So 12 squared is 144, take away 6 squared is 36. So what I would probably do here, I would just take away 40, which gives us 104, add back 4 to give us 108. Brilliant. That's the end of the video on square numbers. Thank you for watching that video, and if you enjoyed that, please check out our website for more great online resources. So the address is www.sats.com. Routes to Success 11plus.uk, or find us on Twitter at Routes to Success. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great videos. Thank you.